started. If you haven't already, sit yourself up either cross-legged or on your knees. And really sitting up from the lower back, so tilting the pelvis forward ever so slightly. If you're sitting cross-legged or on your knees, it can help to actually kind of move your buttock flesh out of the way, just to aid with that forward pelvic tilt. Draw the low belly in and up, lift the chest, roll the shoulders down and back, and rest your hands gently on your legs. And close your eyes. And take a moment to arrive in your body. Notice how you are today. Notice any areas of pain or tension. Notice any emotions or mood. Perhaps any expectations that you might have about the practice today. Not to judge it or criticize it, but just to notice, perhaps with a sense of kindness and compassion, recognizing yourself wherever you are today. And then we do a quick body scan, bringing the awareness down into the toes, the feet and the ankles, up through the lower legs to the knees, the thighs and the pelvis, feeling the sitting bones, dropping down into the support. And then bringing the awareness up through the torso, perhaps lifting your chest slightly as you do so. And then take the awareness to the shoulders, perhaps dropping them down and back once more. And then bringing the awareness down through the arms to the wrists and hands. And feeling the contact between your hands and your legs. And then bring your awareness into the neck and head, allowing all the facial muscles to soften and relax, perhaps bringing a slight smile behind the eyes, and just noticing how that brings a sense of ease to the temples and eye muscles. And then we take 3 deep, intentional breaths together. So inhale, breathing right down deep into the belly, really using the diaphragm. And exhale, feeling the sitting bones dropping down once more. Inhale, breathe wide into the sides and the back of the rib cage. And exhale, relaxing the shoulders down and back. Inhale, right down deep into the belly, out into the sides and the back of the rib cage and all the way up to the top of the lungs. And exhale, let it go. Let your day so far go. And perhaps set an intention to be here with yourself for the next hour as we practice together. Well done for making it to practice today. Okay, and open your eyes. Interlace your hands in front of you, take a breath in and breathing out, push the palms away. Tips of the thumbs touching, little fingers crossed, really stretching already in this position. Arms are nice and straight, but shoulders are down and back, drawing the belly in and up. Take another breath in, and as you breathe out, slowly with the out breath, start to move in the shoulder sockets, maintaining the low belly drawing in and up, finding the movement in the shoulders. And then once you get to your maximum extent, start to lift up out of the waist, Lengthening the sides of the body from hips to armpits to wrists. And then squeeze the upper arms in towards each other and resist away with the heels of the hands. Keeping the breath flowing. Perhaps seeing if you can bring the arms a little bit more back now. And then slowly release the arms and release the hands. If you're in a cross-legged position, you can stretch your legs out and cross them the other way with the other leg in front. Or if you're kneeling, you can stay where you are. And again, sitting upright from the lower back, tilting the pelvis forward slightly, drawing the belly in and up, lifting the sternum, shoulders down and back, and resting your hands gently on your legs. Just taking a moment to experience this position. And then interlace your hands the other way, so less dominant thumb on top. Take a breath in and breathing out, push the palms away. Tips of the thumbs touching, little fingers crossed. Again, arms are strong and straight, really pushing away, but shoulders are back and down. Take another breath in, and again, moving on the out breath, drawing the belly in, keeping the torso stable. Start to move in the shoulder sockets. Going as far as each breath takes you, taking another breath in, and then perhaps finding a little bit more range. Once you're as far back as you're going to get without going into a back bend, start to lift up with the arms out of the waist, lengthening the side of the body, using the arms, feeling that stretch from hips to armpits to wrists. Perhaps noticing if there feels like more of a stretch on one side than the other side. And then squeezing the upper arms in towards each other, resisting away with the heels of the hands, keeping the breath flowing. And then slowly release your hands and make your way up to a standing position. Come to stand with your feet together for mountain pose, Tadasana. Starting to bring the awareness down into the soles of the feet, perhaps for the first time today that you've done that. And just noticing whether your weight is forwards or back, whether you're gripping with the toes. And then ground down through the heel of the right foot, pick the ball of the foot up and stretch it forwards, really elongating and broadening the foot as much as possible. And the same with the left foot, ground down the heel, lift up the ball of the foot, stretch it forwards, spread those toes nice and wide. And then keeping the balls of the feet down, just lift up all the toes and see if you can bring down one toe at a time and pick up one toe at a time. Perhaps having a look down if it's helpful to see what your toes are up to. And feeling as you do this, moving through the toes, how it starts to wake up all the little muscles in the midfoot that control these movements. And then relaxing the toes down, bring the body weight back slightly so that the hips are stacked over the heels. Engage the quadriceps, lifting the kneecaps, lift the front of the pelvis up, draw the belly in, lift the chest, and roll the shoulders down and back, extending the fingertips down towards the floor. And then here in this position, just turn the arms all the way out, maintaining everything out, and notice how that opens across the chest. And then keeping that outwards rotation in the arms, that broadening on the chest, just allow the hands to come more to a forward position. Body weight still back over the heels, kneecaps still lifted, belly in, chest is lifted. And then take a breath in and extend the arms out to the side, really lengthening as much as possible. Feeling that stretch across the front of the chest and the upper back, spreading the fingers, really spreading the palms, extending, feeling the hands strong and wide. And then turning the arms in the shoulder sockets, take a breath in and breathing out, lift the arms up above your head. And then again, lift up out of the waist so the arms can come up by the ears, really using the arms to lengthen the sides of the body. Keep the belly drawing in, chest is lifted, body weight is back on the heels, kneecaps are lifted, and keeping that breath flowing as you stretch up out of the waist, taking up your full height. And then slowly keep the lift in the spine, just allow the arms to come down and re-find mountain pose. Remember this feeling, we come back here in between the standing postures. Okay, hands on hips, bend your knees and step or hop to a wide stride, starting with 2 heels in one line and the outside edges of the feet parallel. Start to push down through the outsides of the feet, lifting up the inner arches. Engage the quadriceps, really lifting the kneecaps, lift the front of the pelvis, just as we do in Tadasana. Draw the belly in and lift the chest. Inhale, outstretch the arms. Again, find that length through the front and the back of the body. And then turn your left foot in slightly and the right foot out all the way. Inside edge of the foot parallel with the long edge of the mat. 4 corners of the torso still facing pretty much the front. Really engage this left quadricep. Inhale, lift the chest, and exhale, slowly sitting down to the right, maintaining the contact with this back leg. And then once you're all the way down, have a look down at your right knee, pushing it back to the little toe side of the foot. And then finally turn your head to look along your right arm. Keeping the breath flowing. Again, take the mind to the back foot, push the heel down, lift up the arch of the foot, keep the kneecap lifted. Draw the belly in, lift the chest, and then sit down a little bit more towards the right. Torso still exactly above the hips, so we're not leaning forwards over this leg. And keeping the breath flowing again, finding that length and extension across the chest and the upper back, but still relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. And perhaps just have a look at your back arm, check it hasn't gone to sleep behind you. Then bring your gaze to the front. Straighten your right leg, turn the right foot round and relax your arms a moment. Check you've still got 2 heels in one line, outside edges of the feet parallel. Body weight back over the heels, draw the belly in and inhale, outstretch the arms. Turn the right foot in slightly and the left foot out 90 degrees, inside edge of the foot parallel with the long edge of the mat. Really engage and stand up from this back leg, so push the heel down, engage this quadricep. As you inhale, lift the chest, and then exhale, resisting back with this leg as you sit down to the left. Spine stays exactly in the center, and then just have a look that you can see your big toe, push the knee out to the little toe side of the foot, draw the belly in, and then gaze now along your left arm. Extending through to the fingertips, long fingers, wide palms, stretching across the chest and the upper back, and keeping the breath flowing. See if you can, again, take the mind to the back foot, the right foot, push the heel down, engage the quadricep, and from that anchor, sit down a little bit more to the left. Keeping the breath flowing. Left knee pushing back to the little toe side of the foot. Drawing the belly in, lifting the chest, shoulders down away from the ears, arms up in line with the shoulders. Sit down one more time. And then bring your gaze to the front. Straighten your left leg, turn the feet round, and step or hop back to mountain pose. Spread the toes, bring your body weight back, engage the quadriceps, lift the front of the pelvis, lift the chest, and extend the fingers down towards the floor, and breathe. Okay, hands on hips, step or hop to a bit of a less wide stride for warrior 1 into 3. So we're going to turn all the way to the side. So pick up the left toes, turn them in, pick up the left heel, turn it out, 45-degree angle. Even here in this position, push that heel down, engage the quadricep up, and then turn the right foot out all the way. With the hands on the hips, bring the hips around to face the front foot. Again, re-engage that back leg, so push the heel down, engage the quadricep, and start to squeeze the inner thighs together so that you can bring that left hip a little bit more forwards. Left glute squeezes down so that you can lengthen through the lower back. And then inhale and take the arms up above the head, lifting up out of the waist, palms facing in towards each other, arms strong and straight, and fingers extended. Drawing the belly in and keeping the chest lifted. Notice here if you're kind of already anticipating where you're going. One of the things that my teacher always used to say is don't go into the future. So what can you find in this position before we continue moving into the posture to focus on and refine? So both legs at this moment are completely straight. That left glute is really squeezing, the inner thighs are drawing together, the belly's in and up, and you're lifting up out of the waist. From there, again, re-engage that back heel, really push it down before you bend now your right knee coming down into your warrior 1. Again, squeeze those inner thighs together, bringing the left hip forward and the right hip back. Drawing the belly in and up, lifting up out of the waist with the arms, biceps by the ears, lengthening the torso using the arms. You can either hold it here or take it into a back bend. If so, you're going to again lift up out of the waist and start to trace the fingertips back along the ceiling, lengthening the front of the body, relaxing the forehead, allowing the eyes to go back without your eyebrows raising, and keeping the breath flowing. See if you can bend that front knee a little bit more. Back leg is really straight, engage that quadricep. And then bring the spine back to a neutral position, reset, draw the belly in, and start to lean forwards over the front leg, gazing at a single point, and transferring the weight and bringing your left leg up. You can hold on to something, a wall, if you like, or you can work on the balance. Try and find that internal rotation of your left leg, so point the toes down to the floor. Heel goes straight up to the ceiling, legs straight if possible, lifting the leg up more, bring the body down more, keeping the breath flowing, gazing at a single point. And then from there, slowly start to tip out, re-find your warrior 1, straighten your right leg, turn the feet round, and relax your arms down for a moment, reset your feet. 2 heels in one line, quadriceps engage, bring the hands onto the hips and the elbows back. We go to the left, so pick up the right toes, turn it in, left heel out, and again, in this position, find that strong leg, so push the heel down, engage that quadricep, maintain that as you turn the left foot round to face the front, and then with the hands on the hips, bring the pelvis round, squeezing the inner thighs together. I'm really engaging now the right glute to send the tailbone down and lengthen the lower back. Draw the belly in, inhale, take the arms up in line with the ears and lift up out of the waist, lengthening the torso. Again, still squeezing the inner thighs together, back leg really strong, pushing the heel down, quadricep lifting up and extending up to the fingertips. And then from here, ground down again through the back heel as you bend your front knee, coming down into your warrior one. Again, see if you can find that inner thigh squeeze, bringing now the right hip forward and left hip back. Right leg is really straight, push the heel down, lift the quadricep up, and then lift up out of the waist with the arms, biceps by the ears. And then you can either hold it here or take it into a back bend. One more time, lifting up out of the waist and then starting to trace the fingers backwards slowly across the ceiling. Allowing the head to drop back, but keeping the face relaxed. And the breath flowing, lifting up one more, going back one more. Still squeezing that right glute. And then bring your torso back to neutral. Draw the belly in strongly and start to lean forwards over your left leg, transferring the weight, gazing at a single point. Again, you can hold on to something if you need to. And try and find that inward rotation of the right leg now, turning the toes down towards the floor. Legs straight if possible. Drawing the belly in, extending the arms away, body down more, leg up more, keeping the breath flowing. And then slowly start to tip back and land in your warrior one. Straighten your front leg, bring the feet round, relax the arms and bring the feet back together and breathe. Body weight back, chest lifted, rolling the shoulders down and extending down towards the floor with the fingers. Okay, we're going to do tree pose. So there's two variations of this that you can do, well, more than that actually, if there's the regressions of this. So either you're going to be standing your foot on the inside of your thigh. If that's not going to be possible in your hips, you can also stand the foot much lower down on your calf. Don't stand your foot on your knee. So it's either got, heel's got to be either above the knee or below the knee. Or your other option is to come into the half lotus version, in which case you'll be lifting the knee all the way up before externally rotating the foot and bringing the foot to rest on the thigh and holding it, as you can see, from the back. So we're not holding like this, but holding like this, so that you can keep the chest open. And then whichever version you're in, you're going to be working on straightening the hips. Okay, so let's start with the left leg standing first. So spread the left toes, start to ground down through the ball of the foot, and then pick your foot up, either bringing it here or into your half lotus. If you're in this position, you're pushing the heel into the thigh and resisting back with the thigh. So there's a lot of two-way kind of resistance between this heel and the thigh, and that's how you're going to keep the heel there. Obviously, you're not going to be pushing so much if you've got the leg lower. And then bring your fingers to your hip points and just see if you can bring the hips to a bit more of a straight position. The hips are obviously going to be pushed to one side, so there is going to be a little bit of a different alignment there. And then draw the belly in and up, bring the hands onto the hips, lifting the chest, shoulders down and back. If you're holding your foot in the half lotus, obviously you can keep holding it and just bring the other hand to the hip. Gazing at a single point of focus, and then you can either keep it there with the arms there or bring the arms up above the head. One arm or both arms if you're in lotus, completely up to you. And again, lifting up out of the waist, extending through to the fingertips, grounding down through the ball of that standing foot, keeping the breath flowing. Draw the arms back a little bit more, extending through to the fingertips. And then with control, come through Namaskar, and then release your foot. And just relax the legs a moment, maybe give them a little jiggle before we go to the other side. So you can start bringing the awareness now into the right foot, spread the toes, ground down through the ball of the big toe joint. That's where you're going to control the balance. And then transferring the weight onto that foot, lift up the left leg and come to whichever position you did on the other side. Again, finding that equal and opposite resistance if you're in this position. And then bringing the hands onto the hips and just noticing, seeing if you can bring the pelvis into a little bit more alignment. Drawing the belly in, gazing at a single point. Hands or one hand on hip. Drawing the elbows back, keeping the chest open. And you can either hold it there or take the arms up above the head, lift up out of the waist, extending through to the fingertips, keeping the breath flowing. Bring the arms back in line with the ears, grounding down through that standing big toe joint, keeping the breath flowing smoothly in and out. And then slowly coming through Namaskar. And you can just release the foot, shake the legs out a little bit, and re-find your mountain pose, spreading the toes nice and wide, bringing the body weight back, lifting the chest, and rolling the shoulders down, extending through to the fingertips. Okay, hands on hips, step or hop to a wide stride for a standing forward bend. Backwards on my mat so that you can see a little bit better. So pigeon toe the feet slightly to facilitate a slight inward rotation of the legs. Engage the quadricep, push the heel down, see if you can lift the inner arches of the feet up. Bring the hands onto the hips and draw the elbows strongly back. And it's starting to go here already into a little bit of a back bend. So really exaggerating, lifting up the chest, lengthening the whole front of the body, and then maintaining that length in the front of the body, so no rounding at all. We're going to inhale, lift up out of the waist one more, and exhale, slowly come forward, hinging at the hips, only so far as you can without rounding the lower back. So you should be gazing forwards, everyone, drawing the belly in, elbows back, using the back muscles to support the weight of the torso. Engaging those quadriceps one more time, really strongly lifting there, turning the tailbone up towards the ceiling as you bring the lowest rib down, perhaps another centimeter. Keeping the breath flowing. And then you can bring the fingertips to the floor. If the floor is too far away for you to do this without rounding. Either bring your hands onto blocks if you've got them, books, chair, whatever, or walk your hands way forward so you're in some kind of wide leg downward dog. Just finding whatever position is good for you. And again, drawing the belly in, lengthening the front of the body, so still really strongly drawing the sternum forward, so we're in a back bend here. Again, re-engaging those quadriceps if they've gone to sleep. Keeping the breath flowing. And then you can either hold it here, or if you've got a little bit more stretch to come, you can start to bring the upper body down even more, but maintaining as much as possible that length in the front of the body. And perhaps if it's available to you, you can come all the way down and draw the shoulders up away from the ears. Keeping the breath flowing, turn the tailbone up towards the ceiling, re-engage the thighs if they've gone to sleep. And then slowly come back to a position with the fingers on the floor. Start to heel toe your feet in towards each other. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Bring the hands onto the hips. Again, still breathing deep, belly to spine. And inhale all the way up. Step the feet together and find mountain pose, body weight back, chest lifted, extending the fingertips down to the floor. Okay, bring your feet to a generous hip distance, drawing the belly in, body weight back over the heels, lift up through the pelvis, hands on hips, inhale, lifting, and exhaling, coming forward again as far as you can, maintaining a back bend. So really exaggerate this. So, you know, I could come down to here and be kind of flat, but I really want you to stay in a spinal extension here, engaging all those back muscles. You're going to inhale up, squeezing the glutes forwards at the bottom, and exhaling down. Imagine you're trying to get that lowest rib forwards over something rather than compressing it down towards the hips. So maintaining that length between the hip points and the lowest rib, keeping that flesh here very long, no compression in the front of the body at all. And then perhaps finding a little bit more depth as you continue to do this. Don't forget to squeeze the glutes at the top. And then next time you're down, holding it at the halfway point. So this you might be a little bit more up if you don't have so much movement in your hamstrings, or you can bend the knees ever so slightly here if that's going to allow you to come down a little bit more, but still maintaining that lumbar curve, drawing the elbows back, opening across the chest. Draw the chin back a little bit. Keep the breath flowing. And then you can either hold it here or bring the arms up in line with the ears, starting to really work those upper back muscles to support the weight of the arms. Belly into spine, stretch the fingers away. Lift the arms up a little bit more, don't let them droop down. And then exhale, melt down to the floor. Relaxing the stomach onto the thighs. You can bend your knees as much as you need to get that contact. And maybe walk the legs out, swaying from side to side. Shake your head. And just taking a few longer, deeper breaths here. Okay, bringing the hands flat onto the floor, so bending your knees as much as you need to do that. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, gaze forwards, and step back into your plank position. Legs are straight, glutes are squeezed, so really turning the tailbone down now and lifting the belly button up towards the spine, so you're making a kind of sandwich with your glutes and your abs, holding everything in tight. Draw the sternum forwards and the shoulders away from the ears, gazing a little bit in front of your hands, keeping the breath flowing, pushing the floor away so shoulders are really protracted here. And then push your way back to a downward dog. Keep the knees bent, heels up, turning the tailbone up towards the ceiling, really pushing the floor away, pushing the body weight back towards the heels, lengthening the arms, relaxing the head completely. And everyone bends the knees a little bit more, turn the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and then perhaps straighten them again. We'll get them a little bit straighter, they don't need to go fully straight. Really taking that stretch into the back of the legs. That's walking the hips out, bending one knee and the other knee, feeling the stretch a little bit more in the calves. And then bring knees down, knees wide, toes together, drop the hips back. You can either relax completely into the floor or you can keep this a little bit more active, extending the fingers forwards, creeping them forwards along the mat as you resist back with the hips. Breathing into the back of the body. Okay, and then come to an all fours position, knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Although saying that, if you find the right angle wrist position or at all uncomfortable, just come back a little bit so that this angle is not so extreme. Really doesn't matter that much. And I just say hands under shoulders, knees under hips, because that's just like the regular instruction. But if you need to come back a little bit, that's also fine. Okay, stable tabletop position. What is important is that you're pushing the floor away with the hands so the shoulder blades are protracted, drawing the belly in towards the spine, finding a nice neutral position with the spine. And then from here, we're just going to do a couple of rounds of some variation of cat-cow, but we're going to try and articulate through the vertebrae. So begin by, again, really strongly drawing the belly in and starting to turn just the tailbone down towards the floor, and then start to round through the lower back, the middle back, finally the upper back, allowing the head to come down. And then just holding it here in this position for a few breaths, spreading the shoulder blades, stretching over the whole back of the body, drawing the belly strongly in. And then again, starting the movement from the tailbone, start to just turn the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then taking the mid back into extension, the upper back into the extension, and finally bringing the gaze forwards. And again, just holding it here, notice what this feels like. Drawing the shoulder blades now kind of towards each other. Arms are still strong and straight, belly is still in. And taking a couple of breaths here. And then we'll just do that one more time. So drawing the belly in, start to turn the tailbone down towards the floor, Really drawing that belly button towards the spine, moving through the lower back and the mid back up to the shoulders, push the floor away, finally allow the head to come down. Take a couple of breaths here. And then moving in the other direction again, turning the tailbone up towards the ceiling, taking the spine into extension, bring the gaze forwards, feeling that backward bend. And then just return briefly to a neutral spine. Remember what that feels like, drawing the belly in. And again, bring the toes together, knees wide, and just drop back onto the hips. Again, either relax completely, or if you want to be a bit more active, keep the arms strong and straight and creep the fingers forwards as you strongly resist back with the hips. Keeping the breath flowing, deep, long breaths here. And then come back to your all fours position. Do a couple of rounds of our vinyasa. So if you need to drop your knees for this to regress it, feel free to do so. Otherwise, everyone's starting in this all fours position. Knees are hip distance apart. Tuck the toes under. Drop the hips back to the heels, activate through the arms. So already in this position, you're starting to push the floor away, pushing the body weight back towards the hips. Take a breath in and breathing out, just turning in the hip sockets, keeping the upper body as back as possible, finding that downward dog position. And then coming forwards to the plank, really see if you can push the floor away and almost kind of dome the spine here before coming down into your chaturanga. Drop the knees if you need to. Inhaling to your up dog. Again, drop the hips if you need to, shoulders away from the ears. Exhaling back to the down dog. And we'll just do a few repetitions of this, moving with the breath. So you can go in your own time. Keeping the elbows in tight, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, so just one more repetition wherever you are. And then next time you're in a downward dog, just hold it there. Again, see if you can really find that good downward dog position, pushing the body weight back towards the heels, turning the tailbone up, relaxing the head. And then dropping the knees down. Bring the knees in a little bit, but maybe just hip distance this time, toes together. Stretching the fingertips forward. And then we're just going to walk the fingertips out to the right, but trying to keep length down both sides of the body. So you're walking the fingertips out to the right, but really stretch with that right hand, keeping the length on that side as well. And breathing there. And seeing if you can bring the left hip back down towards the heel. Don't let it kind of come along the journey. And then walk your fingers back to the middle and over now to the left. Again, prioritizing the length over going to the side, so keeping both sides of the body long, resisting back with that right hip, keeping the breath flowing. And then coming back to the center, come up onto your knees, and we're going to go down onto our fronts, so you can either just lay down straight away on the floor, or you can join me in a plank. Again, squeezing the glutes if you're doing this, drawing the belly in, pushing the floor away. Just holding it here for a few more breaths. Tailbone turning down, legs are straight, quads are engaged. And then slowly coming forwards and very, very slowly down through your chaturanga, all the way down to the floor. And relax your body onto the floor. Feet are hip distance apart. Pushing the tops of the feet down evenly, so finding the big toe and the little toe side of the foot, both pushing down onto the floor. Engaging the quadriceps so you feel the kneecaps pop up off of the floor. Squeezing the glutes so you send the tailbone down towards the mat. Draw the belly in so you're trying to pick the belly button up off of the mat. And then interlace your hands behind your back. Take a breath in and lift up the upper body, keeping all that strength in the legs, so pushing the tops of the feet down, engaging the quadriceps, squeezing the glutes, and then draw the arms away from your hips, keeping the breath flowing. And slowly release down. Turn your head to the right, release your arms, relax the legs, and breathe into your lower back. And then bring the chin forward, again set up from the feet, pushing the tops of the feet down, engaging the quadriceps so the kneecaps lift up, squeeze the glutes, sending the tailbone down, bring the hands either side of the chest, spread the fingers nice and wide, elbows drawing back towards the hips as if you're trying to grab hold of your own hip bones. Take a breath in and start to curl up through the upper back. Really squeeze those glutes down. So you're trying to lengthen the lower back here, keeping the tailbone pointing down and finding the movement in the mid and upper back. Drawing the sternum forwards and up, squeezing the elbows in, back towards the hips, and keeping the breath flowing. Kneecaps are still lifted up off of the floor, tops of the feet are on the floor. Squeeze those glutes down even harder. And slowly releasing down. Turn your head to the left, relax your arms, relax your legs, and breathe into the back of the body. Okay, bring the chin forward. Again, engage through the legs, so you lift up the kneecaps so that the legs are actively straight. Extend your toes away from you a little bit. Squeeze those glutes, push the tailbone down, and then take the arms up above the head, arms in line with the ears, palms facing in towards each other, and then really commit to keeping both your arms and legs straight. So legs are straight, arms are straight, glutes are on. Take a breath in and then lift everything up off the floor. So it doesn't matter how high you come, but it matters that you keep your arms and legs straight. So don't bend them to make it easier, keep them straight. Extend through to the toes, stretching to either side of the room, keeping the breath flowing. See if you can lift the arms up more in line with the ears. See if you can lift the toes up a little bit more. One more time, toes up, arms up. And slowly release down. Bring the arms down, relax the legs, turn the head to the right, breathe. but not for too long because we're going to go again. Chin forward, arms up in line. Engage through the legs, stretch the toes away, quadriceps are on, extend the fingers, take a breath in and lift everything up off of the floor. Stretch the toes away from you, lift the arms up in line with the ears. Keep the breath flowing, little sips of air in and out through the nose in a back bend. Lift the legs up more and the arms up more. And one more time, legs up, arms up. And slowly with control, come down, turn your head to the left. Bring the arms down, relax the legs and breathe into the back of the body. Okay, and then chin forwards one more time. Zip the legs up this time, toes together, but legs are straight. Engage the quadriceps, kneecaps pop up. Palms of the hands flat down towards the floor, out by your shoulders if you've got room, down in a fighter jet position if you do not. Take a breath in and lift everything up off the floor. Lift the toes up, squeeze the glutes, lift the arms up, turn the palms forwards, open across the chest, really broaden, keeping the breath flowing, perhaps smiling a little bit, perhaps regretting how much you need to pee right now, lifting the toes up a little bit more, chest up a little bit more, and then slowly coming down, hands underneath the shoulders. Either push yourself up and back to child's pose, or push yourself up through a plank, and then drop the knees and come to child's pose, relaxing the forehead on the floor, breathing into the back of the body. And then very slowly this time start to draw the belly in and start to restack, rolling up through the spine, restacking lower back, middle back, upper back, neck and head, rolling the shoulders down away from the ears. And then we'll come over onto our backs to Shavasana. So start with your feet hip distance and lower yourself down onto the floor. And keeping the feet flat on the floor, push the push the elbows down, lift the chest and draw the shoulder blades down underneath your heart. And then push the feet into the floor, lift the hips and lengthen the lower back away from you. And then allow the legs to come long. Closing your eyes, allow the feet to fall out to the sides. Bring the arms a little bit further away from the body. And make any final adjustments so that you can be comfortable and still as we relax in Shavasana. Allowing the earth to support your body, feeling the weight of the bones sinking down into the floor. Bringing the awareness down into your toes, the soles of the feet and the tops of the feet, and relax them. And bring the awareness into the ankles, the shins and calves, and into your knees and thighs. Bring your awareness into the pelvis and up through the lower back, mid-back and upper back. And bring the awareness to the abdomen, allowing the muscles to soften and spread. Feeling the rib cage rise and fall with your breath. Relaxing the chest, broadening, allowing the shoulders to drop down into the floor. And then bringing your awareness down through the arms and the hands. Feeling the contact between the backs of the hands and the floor. And feeling the palms of the hands and the fingers gently curling. And then bring your awareness into your neck and head. Relax all the facial muscles, jaw, tongue, teeth, relax. Lower lip, upper lip, nose and cheeks, relax. Eyes, eyelids, eyebrows and forehead. And then bring your awareness to your breath, feeling the movement of the air, moving past the nostrils, and the gentle movement of the abdomen. As you inhale, the belly rises, and as you exhale, the belly falls. And if you like, you might want to visualize the breath, breathing into the heart center, and as you breathe out, visualizing that going out from the heart center down through the limbs to the fingers and the toes. Inhale, breathing into the heart center, and exhale, breathing out from the heart to the rest of the body. And feel free to stay in Shavasana for longer if you want to, but otherwise starting to deepen the breath, breathing down into the belly, taking a couple of deeper, longer breaths. Notice what that feels like. And then slowly start to move, bring some movement back into the fingers and the toes. Again, noticing what it feels like to move them. You can draw your legs up, hug your knees into your chest if that feels good, perhaps rocking from side to side a little bit over the lower back. And then when you're ready, making your way back up to a seated position. You can sit cross-legged or on your knees. Sit up straight one last time. Lifting the chest, dropping the shoulders down and back, closing your eyes. And either leaving your hands resting on your legs, or you can bring them to a prayer position, resting the thumbs on the sternum. Again, spreading the fingers wide, gently pushing the palms towards each other. Bow your chin towards your chest. Take a moment to give thanks. Notice how you feel. And then raise your head and open your eyes. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, for practicing with me. And well done.